If you've been a subscriber to my channel for a while, you know that I've done a few reviews of various bear deterrents. One of those was the True Flare bear bangers and signal flares. And I also did a demonstration of bear spray. Anyways, this caught my attention because there isn't a lot of flares that are made that are actually sold for the purpose of animal deterrence. Now, when you see this thing in action, you're going to see exactly why any wildlife, even if it's a tiger or a lion, whatever, is going to be scared of this thing. So the first thing we're going to do is unscrew the cap. There is a string in here. I'm going to be careful not to pull it out too soon. And let's go fire it up. Very easy to use. Undo the string. Hold it firmly, let her loose. Man, is that ever bright. Aha! Magic! Feel like I'm in the Olympics or something. See it all burnt away there. 2,000 degrees. This is not going to actually neutralize the bear as bear spray would, and you can't reuse it like you might be able to get a few shots out of a canister of bear spray if he decided to come back, or after running off into the woods, which typically happens with wildlife. Is they're still out there, it scares them away for a short period of time. But, their chances are they're still scouting you after that. So hopefully you have enough time to get to a safe place at that time. But definitely as a signaling device, this is awesome. Now, one of the benefits of this over bear spray, if you're in a tense situation with a bear, you've never seen a bear before, you're not familiar with wildlife, so you don't respond that well perhaps to big giant monsters in the wilderness, well, chances are you're not going to be that accurate with that bear spray, even though the cone that it disperses is pretty wide, and of course you're going to have to take into consideration wind and stuff like that, so it's not going to actually neutralize the bear as you would bear deterrent, but there's going to be a much less likelihood that you're going to be able to apply that effectively, whereas this, you just pull the string, release it, the bear's going to get scared and probably run away. That's in theory anyways. Most animals don't like fire. It's probably a genetic thing, an evolutionary thing, whatever the case might be. This is going to scare them away. I think this bear flare really is an awesome thing to keep in a bug out bag or survival kit, a hiking pack, if you're going camping. And I really wish I knew about something like this sooner. I've spent years and years in the bush, and I've never used flares or thought of them to be a wildlife deterrent until I seen Call Craven Bushcraft use them on the show alone. And that really piqued my interest in using the idea of using it as a wildlife deterrent, as well as a fire starter potentially, and of course an excellent signaling device for you tactical guys. Obviously there's probably some tactical applications of it as well, be it a smoke bomb, some sort of stun grenade, whatever, something to perhaps just throw off the senses of your adversary. But I really think that this is an awesome thing. Now, it weighs about a pound, but I think it's a pound well spent when you think of what you can do with it. It's a bit more versatile than bear spray, which is going to weigh maybe a little less than a pound, depending on the size of the canister you get. But it's going to just emit this incredible white light, as you can see in the demonstrations here. And I think this retails for about $26. I'm going to post some links as to where you can get it below. And yeah, just a really cool design. Now, it would be neat, perhaps, like this one burns for 1 minute. I actually have had upwards of 70 seconds on some of the tests I've done with it. I've burned 3 of them. One of them burned for 70 seconds. The other one's burned just over 60 seconds. One thing you're going to want to know, once this flare is exhausted, it's going to quickly start to melt the plastic bottom. So that's something to keep in mind. The great thing about these flares is that there is no real expiration date on them. 10 years is the general idea. But if kept in a good condition, like if they're not in a boat or exposed to the elements, then they could last a long time, a lot longer than that. So definitely check out the BearFlare. I think it's an awesome product. And these are specifically tailored towards wildlife deterrence using the white light and the smoke and the long burn time. So a bit different than, you know, something like a flare gun. The problem I've always had with flare guns, now they are multi-purpose too, in the sense that they could be used for self-defense purposes, but you're going to have to be accurate with that. And depending on where you shoot it, it could scare the animal towards you if you don't actually hit the animal. Those things aren't meant to be accurate. They're about as accurate as a shotgun slug on a sawed-off shotgun. So, you know, I mean, they're not meant to be. They're meant to be pointed at the sky, which is a pretty big target. So take that into consideration. I think this would be more useful than a flare gun. Obviously, a flare gun in a forest setting, you're going to be able to shoot it over the trees if a helicopter was flying overhead and you need to signal them. So there's that to keep in mind, but the smoke from this will be seen from a long distance as well. So that is something where I think it kind of balances out, because once that flares up in the air, once it falls, it's done. So there's a very small window for it to be seen, whereas this, you get 60 seconds and probably about 5 minutes of good smoke, which is going to indicate your location. So definitely check out the BearFlare. I'll post the link below. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.